everyone, and welcome to James Scott, episode 2. I hope you've got the popcorn and a comfy seat, because this episode is just as surreal, if not more, than episode 1. At the end of episode 1, our man, or one of the team, was just about to call Cassandra.
Hello, Cassandra.
Good morning.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So you asked me a question about the reach supervisor. I told you I was the reach supervisor. You don't understand what I'm saying.
No, then you told me weren't. So it's a bit hard. Then you told me that you weren't. So it's a little bit hard to understand you when you tell me both things, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit complicated. That was why you did not understand what I was saying.
No, I understood very well what you were saying. One time you said to me, I'll read it off the screen, I don't actually work as a rig supervisor. That wasn't hard to understand. Then you said that you are a rig supervisor. So it's not me that's not understanding, is it? It's you that has told me two different stories. So don't try and make it my fault when you told me two different things.
Sorry about that. That was my mistake.
Yes,
so
I'm sorry about it too, and I'm sorry that you're trying to make it my fault that you said both things. That's not
making it your fault.
Yeah, that's not the
making your
That's not the behaviour. Shut up. That's not the behaviour of a mature gentleman, is it? To try and blame me because you got it wrong.
I told you I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
I'm terribly sorry about that.
Yes, you are. You're sorry. Now tell me what you do as a rig supervisor.
Yeah, I do supervise what my workers do and my clients do. You understand?
No, you're going to explain to me what you do as a rig supervisor.
Alright, so I do the rig supervisor is responsible for overseeing all drilling activities, including equipment setup, drilling
No. Please do not read the job description off the screen. I'm asking you what you do, not what the job description of a rig supervisor is. You know, for example, you could tell me which rig you are on, how many people you're supervising. You know, what do you personally do?
Hey, okay, now I understand what you're saying.
I know it's so hard to understand what you do at work, isn't it? Such a complicated concept. Right, so you tell me what you do.
Yeah, I supervise up to more than 30 to 40 people a year.
Okay. Yes, I can understand I supervise more than 30 people. You know, unlike you, I do understand basic English. And which rig are you on? That's also not Yes. What is the name of the rig that you are on?
We have different programs. I do work for different programs.
Yeah, you're on a rig. What is the name of the rig that you are on?
They have a different type. What particular one do you want me to tell you?
I want you to tell me the name of the rig that you are currently on.
Emerich.
Right, okay. At last! It's so tedious having to ask you everything so many times. I mean, I'm surprised you've managed to become a rig supervisor if everyone has to ask you even a simple question so many times. Must be terribly tedious for your employees.
Yeah, I do work for Emerich and Penn. Understand?
For who?
Sir?
I didn't understand. I thought you worked for ExxonMobil. Have you changed employers since we started talking?
You asking me, what's the thing I'm doing there, right?
No, I asked you what's the name of the rig that you are on.
Emerich.
Right, okay. But you work for ExxonMobil, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Last. As I say, it's so tedious having to ask you every simple question so many times. Must be terribly tedious and boring for your employees.
Making me understand what you're saying. So you are just proceeding on asking me different questions. So you are supposed to ask me a very particular question. So I'm going to answer you for that one.
No, I didn't ask you lots of questions. I did ask you a very particular question. I asked you the name of the rig that you're on. It was a very particular question, and it ought to have been a very simple question. I mean, I can imagine your employees coming and asking you, which spanner should I use to unscrew this nut, and you taking them about half an hour for you to answer. It must be terribly tedious. That's probably why you have to employ so many people. Half of their time is taken up just trying to ask you a simple question. No, I suppose it's one way of passing the time.
That's what I was saying all that, okay? When we were chatting, I was a little busy, you understand?
Oh, a little busy. Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, well, I mean, I understand that ChatGPT does take time. Because, of course, you have to put all the text in,
That chat GPT is like an AI. Like, you do understand. Like, if you go and browse for me, you check there, you see everything about me there.
Oh yes, I know what ChatGPT is. Yes, it works so much better if you type sensible stuff into it. Also, of course, have you turned on memory and settings like it kept telling you to? You'd probably find that terribly helpful.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes,
I understand what you're saying.
Yes, if you're going to write rubbish, at least write sensible rubbish. Although, of course, the viewers of the video will probably find the real rubbish much more entertaining.
All right.
Yeah, I knew you'd agree with that, yes. I mean, they'll enjoy your starring role. And it's nice to hear you. Because it's always good to have a role in your own video.
Sandra, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
To ask, how are you doing?
Well, how do you think I'm doing?
I'm just asking about health.
I beg pardon? Say that again.
I said I'm just asking you about your health.
You're asking me about my health? Oh, well, my health. My health. Okay, well, I've had double pneumonia and both knees replaced in the last 2 weeks. Exactly, yes. I said I've had double pneumonia and both knees replaced. How's your health?
I've been great. It's just that I'm a little busy and focusing on my work for like a couple of months now. I haven't come down for what I'm doing. Understand?
Oh, I know. It's so tedious having a job where you're busy, isn't it? It's much better to be paid an awful lot of money for doing nothing. I mean, that's what most people aspire to, It never happens.
I understand now.
Yeah, exactly, The more work you do, the more you get paid. That tends to be the way it works.
That's our tease.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I was lead to conclusion on what I'm doing. That I've been a lot of busy right now. Understand me?
Oh, absolutely. I expect you're terribly stressed as well, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been long. It's been long. I have a very good sleep. I've been just working all day, just thinking about to get paid and all that. So you understand me?
Oh, I understand you, because of course getting paid is obviously the aim of working. That's why most people work. But I don't know many people that work and don't want to be paid.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes. I mean, I expect you're going to get paid several $1 million, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you might be, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was asking you about, do you have any kids?
No, I don't. We've already done that one. You really don't read what I say, do you?
I just wanted to ask you, in person, I just wanted to ask him.
Yes.
Now,
I mean, you could go right back to the start of the list,
I understand you.
Yeah, I know you do. Yes. Do you have any kids?
Yeah, I have a boy.
Oh, good. And I imagine you've left him with his nanny or in a boarding school, have you?
No, I do have a nanny who take care of him.
Yeah, that's what.
I don't have all the time to just be with him, and he's always wondering why am I always going to I don't have time for him all that.
Yes,
so I told him I'm going.
I knew you would have left him with a nanny.
My priority in life is to settle down with the right woman. Understand me?
Oh yes. I mean, I'm sure you'll find the right woman. She'll probably have to be deaf. Well, no, not deaf. That's unkind to to the deaf community, and I didn't, I obviously apologise. But she probably, well, she would have to not be interested in what you're saying. Let's put it that way. And also, she'd have to be self-sufficient, because if she had even the smallest question to ask you, she'd have to ask you half a dozen times. It would get terribly tedious.
Yeah, so what do you seek for in a relationship?
Oh, I'm not seeking anything in a relationship. I don't want a relationship.
Why do you say so?
How is that any of your business?
No, love is not about finding the right person, but creating the right relationship. Understand me?
Oh, I understand you. Yes, you've got two lists now. You've got the one with the questions on and the one with the stupid answers on.
So you're trying to say I'm asking you a stupid question?
Yeah. Do you have two phones with the questions on one screen and the answers on the other, or do you have to flip between the two?
No, I don't do that. I don't do that. Okay.
Oh, but you said you did yesterday, because I told you to move down to about question 20, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you kept asking me the same questions again, all the ones at the top of the list. I don't know how long your list is.
I told you and don't understand what I'm saying, because you kept asking me same question. I was like very, very confused about what you're saying.
I know, and you kept not answering me, didn't you? It's so tedious having to ask every question so many times before you get an even passingly sensible answer. I mean, at least ChatGPT gives you an answer,
I feel I'm having a headache right now.
Oh dear, that's terribly sad. Perhaps you should go and take a couple of headache pills.
Yeah, it's because of you. Like, the question you asked me was fucking too much. Damn me.
Oh, and which question was I asking that was effing too much?
I think I'm having an headache right now.
Oh, that's so sad. That's terrible. I suggest you go and find a glass of water and take a couple of headache pills.
I'll do that soon. I think
that would be a good idea. Because it is terribly such a stress being asked a simple question. I mean,
it's not. I don't want stressing me all this right, okay?
I know, it's awful. How many times did I have to ask you the name of the rig that you're on? Which obviously is a terribly stressful question. I mean, it's probably written on the helipad, You just have to climb up to the top and look down and you'd see the name of your rig.
I just answered your question. You asked me what's the name of the rig I'm working on. That I told you just now. You're saying nothing right now.
I know, and how many times did I have to ask you before you answered me?
Oh, let's just forget about it.
Yes,
forget about that.
Let's forget it. Let's forget about it. And it's the same with every question that I've asked you, which is why you've got a headache. I have to ask you every question multiple times. It's not that I'm asking you lots of questions. I just have to keep repeating the question because you won't answer it. It's terribly tedious. I'll tell you what, I'll ask you another question, but I know I'll have to ask you at least half a dozen times. Where were you working before you were working in Kuwait?
You sir?
Exactly, I knew I'd have to ask you several times. Before you started working in Kuwait, where were you working before?
I was working in Quebec, Canada.
Oh, right. So you were working at home?
You sir?
So you were working at home?
Yeah, I've been working at home before I got this job.
Yes. So what were you on there in Quebec? Were you working on a rig there or were you doing something else?
I was just doing a little working on different projects. Like if any works come, I'll just go there and help them just supervise what they're doing. Lots of little work there. Understand me?
No, I don't understand you. Lots of little work on what? On rigs or housing estates? What kind of work?
I was into real estate before now. I was into real estate. Understand?
Oh, right. So you magically became a rig supervisor without any experience. How did you manage that? Did you bribe someone?
You understand me? I do study that in my school, when I was a little boy. Understand me?
Oh, when you were a little boy, you studied rig supervising as a small child. Oh my goodness! Fancy that. I didn't know you could do that. You see, you learn something new every day, don't you?
When I was a teenager, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay, so you studied rig supervising as a teenager, and then magically at the age of... How old did you say you are? 65. Magically at the age of 65, decided to get a job as a rig supervisor. No wonder everyone on your rig has to ask you every question so many times, because you obviously have no idea what you're doing, are you? I mean, fancy magically becoming a rig supervisor at the age of 65 because you studied it when you were 16. You don't think maybe things might have changed a bit in the last 50 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. You know, I'm sure that your employees just think you're a little bit old-fashioned, don't they? You're so thrilling to talk to, aren't you?
Like, what do I have to say right now? What do I have to say? Like, oh my God. You sure?
I'm not God, just for your information.
Alright.
Yes, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah. I tell you what, tell me what you're going to be doing at work today.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit down and work for the thing today.
You're just going to sit down? Yes, exactly. That sounds like hard work.
No, it's not like... I'm not like today. I'm just going to like supervise what they did yesterday, okay? So I'm gonna like...
Yeah, you're going to like what?
See, I'm going to supervise what they are doing today.
Yes. And what are they doing today?
You're still on the work?
Well, obviously they're working, but what are they doing? You know, who do you supervise? There's loads of people on an oil rig, you know. Well, I mean, I presume you do know that. You're on one. You know, what are they doing?
Digging bridges.
I beg your pardon?
Digging bridges.
Digging what?
Ridges.
What does that mean? I don't know what a ridge is.
You don't know what a ridge is?
No, I just said that. I don't know what a ridge is.
Okay, I'll explain to you that in sentence.
Go on, then. Go on.
I said a ridge, like, it means like we dig ridges, find oil, look for oil, then put in pipes.
What is a ridge? What is a ridge? What do you dig on a ridge? What is it?
That's what I'm explaining to you.
No, you're not. What is a ridge? ChatGPT might be able to explain it to you. I mean, because it's obvious that you don't know. I mean, it might tell you about ridge and furrows if you ask it. Okay, so you don't know what a ridge is, but you're going to dig one if you find one. Does your ridge... beg your pardon. Does your rig move around looking for these ridges? Oh dear, you've disappeared. What a shame. Just as I was having fun. Oh well, never mind. Oh dear, you disappeared just as you were about to tell me what a ridge is. I was asking if your rig moves around looking for one. Where are you from? That really isn't an answer to my question. I'm asking you mine. I asked you mine first, so I'm not answering until you answer mine, said Cassandra, sending lots of question marks. And then she thought she'd answer anyway. I haven't moved since you last asked, so please answer my question. Obviously, I'll have to ask you multiple times, because we've already agreed that I have to ask every single simple question many times. The viewers might get rather bored. We are responsible for the maintenance and repair of drilling equipment and machinery. Rig engineers prioritise safety and ensure compliance with industry regulations and environmental standards, says the man whose rigs exploded and killed lots of people. No, that isn't the question I asked, and you've already said that. I asked you what a ridge is, and if your rig moves around looking for one. You told me you dig ridges, and I asked what a ridge is. Google had some answers, although I'm not entirely sure what it was the answer to. But anyway, the particular way in which a sailing boat's masts, sails, and rigging are arranged, it said. Followed by, A long, narrow, raised part of a surface, especially a high edge of a hill or mountain. Awesome. So you raise the sails on your rig and go looking for the high edge of a mountain. Can your rig fly, or does it just sail to the mountain? No, we dig a tunnel. Ah, that makes much more sense. How does the rig get through the tunnel? Does it have wheels or legs? I just told you. We dig through it. Of course. But how does the rig get through the tunnel to reach the mountain? Do you wheel it through? Don't get you stop asking me such questions. I answered your question already. We do have a drilling machine. Oh, you don't want to talk about your work? Of course. How far is the mountain from your rig? It must be a long-distance drill. Yes? It's a shame the channel engineers didn't have your technology. It might not have taken them so long. It might be miles away. It would be. Are there lots of mountains in Kuwait? I've never been there. Where are you from? That's why I ask you. They haven't moved since you asked originally. Are there lots of mountains in Kuwait? Obviously, I'll have to ask you multiple times. Some man sent a voice clip.
You are answering mine now. I asked you a question.
Who knew that they had babies on oil rigs? And I answered. I've not moved since you originally asked me. I am still in the same place as I was when you first asked. I still live in the place I told you when you first asked, because right at the beginning of the first video, she told him she lives in Suffolk. Are there lots of mountains in Kuwait? You could ask ChatGPT. That would probably know the answer. Sadly, if you're looking at the screen, you'll see that our man never answered. And when I tried to message him again, he'd blocked Cassandra. Clearly one member of the team had enough brain power to work out that they'd been had. I hope you enjoyed these 2 videos. If you did, you know what to do. Please like this one, please share it, please comment down below, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video.